You're listening to Two Chunks and a Hunk. Movie musings for mostly everyone.
Welcome to Two Chunks and a Hunk. My name is Jordan Wonders, and this week I'm, you guessed it, a chunk.
I'm Doge, and sorry, but you're hunked.
And I'm Carter, and hey, Chunkhole, felt good to see your kid thanks to me. You grateful or what? Why is your ringtone so tacky? What's wrong with it? How do I change it? Doge.
Yeah, I thought you would never ask.
When I saw you this morning pop up on this here Zoom call, I had already assumed what I would later find to be true.
Yeah.
Why are you so hunky today?
You had a hunky nature to you.
Yeah, I feel like I'm imbued with
a hunky glow.
Yeah. I have a new signature drink I've been making myself.
Okay.
It's an afternoon pick-me-up because I don't know about you guys, but when I try to work after lunch, I'm very sleepy. I get that afternoon, that 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock sleepy slump. And this has been powering me through. And our drink begins, as all drinks do, in the past, with a discontinued product called Coca-Cola Black, which was a coffee soda that Coke made. They discontinued it. People weren't into it. They recently relaunched coffee and Coke. Like it's basically in like a tall boy.
Oh.
But it's a small tall boy. It's a proportionate tall boy, but a miniature tall boy, like a White Claw. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
It's like a tall, skinny one, but not a tall boy.
Okay.
This is very good.
Let's talk more about can shape. Yeah, let's.
Yeah. Well, I can get really into it. It's important that you understand the etymology of this drink.
Sure.
My dad, on a whim, bought some of those for me and Jess one time. He was like, this felt like something you'd like. And I said, first of all, yuck. And second of all, sure, I'll try it. Hooked. Absolutely hooked. I've been making it at home. I've been putting a Coke Zero and then just a little shot of decaf coffee in. You're making that face because this is what you do every time I describe a food or a drink.
Oh, why
on this
decaf?
program.
What's the point?
Because I have decaf beans I got to get rid of. Coke Zero's got the caffeine in it. I got decaf beans I need to drink through.
If Coke
Once I'm
Zero's
done
got
with
enough caffeine to get you going, you got to pump those numbers up, my friend.
It's because I do 2 big boy cups first thing in the morning, and then once my stimulant starts to wear off, I gotta have something to juice me back up over that 100% level. Coffee and Coke Zero, boys, I'm here to tell you that it's very good. All right, let's rate it.
That sounds, that's kind of like European en route, is it not?
I don't know. I know coffee's from Atlanta.
Do you like having the bite?
Atlanta.
Is it nice to, does it bring about some fun burps?
It honestly doesn't. The thing that it does is a little chocolatey. It gives me a little chocolatey, and I don't know where that's coming from.
Huh. Do you know what they call this drink in a lot of the Midwestern parts of this country? Like Middle America?
Are you being real or is this a joke?
Only one way to find out.
What do they call it?
The Mormon's Nightmare. Oh,
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well, we should talk about a movie. What a strange beverage that now I can't get out of my brain.
I really want you guys to try it.
I would for sure. I feel like I've had something
really,
like it.
It's like
I've
really
had
good.
Coca-Cola Black.
Yeah, honestly, if you can get the coffee Cokes, with the fun can shape that we can go into a little bit more.
Sure, yeah. Maybe perhaps it's like a tall boy, but not quite though. But
like a tall boy, it's like a growing boy. It's like a teenager to tall boy.
It's a lanky boy. It's a lanky boy.
Exactly. It's a string bean teen.
Sure.
Get it. It's really good. Don't get the mocha ones. Don't get the vanilla ones. Just get the regular old coffee and Coca-Cola, and it's fantastic.
Well, thank you for sharing your beverage choice with us, Doge. We are, instead of that, though, going to talk about the second movie of our Choo Chwo Chunks series all about trains and the wonders held within. And the movie for this week is a little movie known as Train to Busan. And Doge, I need a synopsis so that we can talk about it.
this week's synopsis is written by Official Synopsis.
Very good.
Train to Busan is a harrowing zombie horror thriller that follows a group of terrified passengers.
Said, help me understand. Keep going. I'm going to try and keep up this theme.
Okay, yeah. Train to Busan is a...
68, you renegotiate. Don't stop this train.
Doge, what do you do? Read the synopsis.
It's a harrowing zombie horror thriller that follows a group of terrified passengers fighting their way... I'm waiting on music. There's no music. Through a countrywide viral outbreak while trapped on a suspicion-filled, blood-drenched bullet train to Busan, a southern resort city.
That's great.
Yeah, that's a southern resort city that has managed to hold off the zombie hordes, or so everyone hopes.
Or so they hoped.
I feel like I was promised a little... We promised a little music underneath that, and I was giving you space to develop themes, and then they could play underneath while I was
doing
reading,
the
and you
music.
didn't. Well, it didn't last.
Then I stopped.
Well, I wanted more of it.
It's fine. I did exactly what John didn't want me to do. And I just stopped the train altogether. I apologize for that.
I thought he did want you to. I thought the whole point is that he does want the train to stop. I think that's the point of the song, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When he's like, don't know how else to say, don't want to see this train not stop. Yeah, he's like, please stop it.
When he's like, the train runs through the halls of my high school.
Yeah.
I want a train at the top of my train. I had never seen Train to Busan. My sister and brother-in-law have been trying for generations to get me to watch this movie. And just never got around to it. But finally did this time.
Yeah.
For our podcast. And look, zombies are a little played out, a little tired between, The Walking Dead, I feel like did a lot of people in pretty good, but they were the soup du jour for quite a while.
Feels like all of the 2010s was like, let's do zombies. Have you guys heard of these guys?
But
we kind of latch on to monsters, though, don't we?
We do.
There's like a vampire decade.
We do. We're in a vampire season right now, I believe.
Really?
Back.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not a vampire. I feel like it's like tending more toward folk creatures now.
I mean, Midnight Mass and What We Do in the Shadows are huge. And
yeah, that's true.
I don't know. Maybe we're just in a free-for-all right now. But I am in a...
oh, shoot. Yeah, no, you're right.
I'm in a season of franchise fatigue, which we've talked about a little extensively on the podcast. I have been disappointed by series that I love very much, and I am valuing freshness more than any other element of a movie currently. Yeah. So when I watched Train to Busan last night, a movie about zombies, maybe the freshest way to present zombies that I have seen in a long time.
Isn't it funny how just making them fast?
Man, making them fast is a big difference.
Making zombies fast makes them a different thing.
But let me say this too.
Terrifying.
And, we're treading dangerous waters, busting down the doors of conversation this early, but...
We scream at the top of our lungs,
Smart characters.
I just found out there's no such thing as a train.
They're not real. They're not even real. The smart characters, for the most part, dealing with fast zombies makes for a thrilling watch.
Yeah.
And I was expecting it to be good because I've heard the buzz, but there is so much here that is so excellent.
Yeah.
I left really impressed.
This is another one that I think is going to fall into that Snowpiercer vibe for us as far as our discussion goes.
Sure.
Which I guess, by the way, don't ever get on a train because you will have to fight your way from the back of the train to the front of the train.
Yeah, sure.
These two movies. But where it's like so much is so cool and it is so elemental that it's hard for me to think about like, where do we start our conversation? Because it would inevitably start if we were not recording with, do you remember the one time they killed that one zombie in that way?
Yeah,
that was cool.
I think to honor the spirit of the movie, I think the discussion simply has to start with, do y'all remember that one scene where everybody tapes up, weapons up, and charges a horde of zombies waiting in a train car?
That's my super pump.
It's so sick.
That's my super pump because that's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Sick.
It's awesome.
Oh my gosh, it's so cool. Like, I think Callie and I just did the wide-eyed, wide-mouthed look back and forth at each other about a dozen times watching. Like, we were just like,
yep.
No way.
So cool.
Yeah. It's your super phone. Talk about it.
To me, I don't know. What do you say other than this is like one of the coolest things I've ever seen?
Yeah.
Like the tracking shot of them charging through the zombies and like, I don't know, man. Like I really, really enjoy that this was a zombie movie that wasn't necessarily a horror movie.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like this is zombie
like
action, zombie thriller where it's...
I'd say drama too.
Right. But it doesn't really feel like folks are, or the audience is supposed to be terrified of the zombies.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Because I think that's a little like, I don't know, maybe this goes back to what you're saying about smart people, but never once was anybody like bitten and tried to hide it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Never once was anybody like, no, I think I can reach, I think they're still in there somewhere. I can help them. You know what I mean? Everybody's like, nope, they're trying to kill us. We'll kill them back. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
and I think this scene to me is just the encapsulation of that, of just like, this is what kind of movie this is. This is not going to be the like milking it for soap operatic drama.
Right. There's an element of at the beginning when everything starts, I appreciated that it wasn't like this instant bloodbath because, I mean, if the passengers are still people that would be having to kill people that they were just sharing a train with a few minutes ago. You know what I mean? Like, It wasn't just instantly like start chopping off heads and let's get gory and all that stuff. But so there's a scene in Alien versus Predator, which is not a great movie, but it's a fun movie. There's a scene in Alien versus Predator. Spoilers for a like 15-year-old movie, I guess. But the main character is handed a spear and shield, and the shield is the hollowed out head of a xenomorph. And the spear is the, I think, tail or like claw of a xenomorph attached to a stick. And she is handed these things by the predator that has decided we're working together now to fight the xenomorphs. And it is so stupid and unbelievably cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That is the heart and soul of this movie, but somehow less stupid. Like, this is just a movie that's like, what if it was awesome? And also several times made you go, oh, that's really smart, actually. Oh, that's really smart, actually.
Yeah.
For instance, I said out loud, oh, yeah, cover the door so the zombies can't see you. And then they did it. And I love when a movie thinks differently than other zombie movies, you know, especially in a saturated genre like zombies.
Yeah.
When a movie is willing to say, if we just cover the door, they don't know to be aggressive towards us anymore. Exactly. Oh, it worked. It's so cool.
Yeah. It walks in with a clear awareness of the people watching this movie have likely seen a zombie movie before.
Yeah, right.
It feels like a zombie movie for people who are tired of zombie movies.
Yeah.
The word zombie was said once in this movie.
Only in a headline, as far as I could tell.
Yeah, only once. And I love that kind of stuff. I love that most of the quote unquote conversations on how we navigate these zombies is not really ever spoken.
Right.
It's just like moments of being like, you saw that, right? Yeah. Looking up the map for the train. Tunnel's coming. There'll be another one in 2 minutes. So when we have that stressful moment where they're looking for him, when this zombie is getting really close, okay, come on, Tunnel.
Yeah, dude.
It's been 2 minutes, right? Come on, Tunnel.
Yeah.
Come on.
When he looked on the map to map out like how long they would have in these tunnels, how fast they were going, I looked at Callie and I said, I love this movie. I love this movie.
Yeah.
Because these characters are so smart. The way they handle this. And when I referred to him exclusively as either Gilgamesh or Big Blue the whole time we were watching, who, by the way, I'll talk about him again in just a little bit, but
his name is Sung Hwa.
I adore this man as an actor and a character, so well written and so likable. Yeah. But when he is bitten, he's not like, I can make it. I'm different. He just says, okay, well, if I'm going out swinging. And when he picks up the other zombie in front of him and like battering rams the rest of them back with a zombie. Yeah.
And you can tell he's even strong enough. He has the willpower to like fight becoming a zombie too.
Right.
Like his eyes have already changed, but he's still holding them all the way up until they just break him basically.
Yeah. I was so impressed. Have either of you seen Old Boy?
No.
So Old Boy, the first time I watched it, It's also a Korean movie, and it's like a thriller drama type action thing. And when it finished, I just remember thinking like, man, I wonder if it's just a theme in Korean cinema to pull no punches. Like, Old Boy is an emotionally devastating movie to watch. Like, it's so cool, but by the end, you're like, I can't handle a twist again. I'm done.
Yeah.
And this movie similarly is merciless.
Yeah.
I mean, we're watching this zombie movie and Callie is like bawling on the couch next to me by the end of this movie.
Yeah.
This is an emotionally devastating
her saying
journey.
goodbye to her dad is off.
This might be the best child actor I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, she's phenomenal.
She is
really good.
Outrageous. Like, I'm not sure if this movie touched American Oscars. I don't know if there's a Korean version of the Oscars. I think there is some sort of like Korean Film Award.
There is.
Thing.
Yeah, this movie got a lot of nominations for that.
This little girl should have been nominated for something if she wasn't.
She was great.
Even before the crying scene, she's really, really good for such a young kid. Mm-hmm. But that crying scene, there are adult actors that couldn't pull off anguish like that.
No.
That is
I found myself just hoping that I didn't want to know how they got her there. I was like, please, what awful thing did you tell this kid?
Yeah.
I just wanted her to actually be professionally really good at that.
That's what I hope.
And
it
not
was.
Be like, oh, Suan, why don't you just remember when blank?
Yeah,
I'm
we
like,
strangled your dog right before this take. Here we go. Ready?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I hope that's not what happened. I hope she's just a baller.
She's just like, yeah, I got it. No problem. I'll cry. I'll pretend my dad's going away forever. No problem. I got it.
I'll super dump. I'll do it.
Oh.
For a movie about which I loved so much, could not stand the over-the-top Gotham City evil of our like antagonist character.
Yeah.
That dude deserves to be delivered justice by Batman. That is a comic book villain.
Yeah.
So evil is this man. And I understand there's a subtle class warfare thing going on in this movie. And by subtle, I mean about as subtle as a semi-truck driving through your window of your house.
I mean, that's the thing is like this is about as subtle and about as stark as Snowpiercer last week.
It doesn't offend my sensibilities that it's not subtle at all. But I understand that he is supposed to represent the rich, the bourgeois, the insensitive, whatever you want to call it.
Suk.
Hey, real quick, is bougie short for bourgeois?
Yes.
Is this a connection I'm just now making live on the podcast?
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah, seems
How
like
have I never noticed
seems
that?
like it. I'm not sure.
There's not too many words that start with the
Because you've told me before
bouge.
that you've always thought it was pronounced Borges.
I know, yeah. It was like,
Bourgeois.
I thought it was Burgess, and I was like, that's weird.
Burgess.
I don't know.
Bougie.
And cool means good? I'm learning so much about humans.
Yeah, cool.
I thought it meant like
cool
cold,
is nice,
like not warm.
but hot is also good. You know, English is strange.
And sick is also good.
Sick is good.
Sick is
Bad is good.
Bad means good?
Nasty is good.
Whoa. What doesn't mean good?
Bad. No, it does mean good sometimes.
No, it does mean good. Gross.
I can make it work. I can make it be good.
Okay. Yeah. Huh. Kim Yu-sung, that is our evil, over the top evil boy.
I just think it's the worst thing about the movie. It's a
little cheeseball,
ridiculous.
Yeah.
By the time he's like pushing people into zombies to get away, I was just like, come on, dude.
Yeah, his turn into like just outright decom villain.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Just
dude.
a cartoon terrible person.
Like if he Joker laughed and soliloquied, I would be like, yeah, that fits.
He finds for some reason he finds like where they have all the pets. So he just starts throwing puppies at the zombies.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah. He's awful.
That's what it feels like that this man.
My super dump does fall on the relentlessness of this movie, not as a whole, but there is a specific scene. So one of our two sisters, we had an old couple of sisters.
Yeah.
One of our two, the first one to go, this was Soo Jung-yi, plays In Gil, who is this kind of protecting her sister, but we have the really intense scene of they're not being let in. So they're not, which is brilliant. Our bad guy, who's absolutely cartoon crazy, is just like, no, they're infected. He's basically just decided he's so fatigued with trying to decide who's good. It's just all bad. He's like, everyone in this car is the only good. And, coming right off of Snowpiercer, there is some class system stuff that is not nearly as blatant as in Snowpiercer, but it's definitely here in Train to Busan. Anyways.
Yeah.
We finally get everybody through. And in my mind, this lady can come in. She could come into the car, but she looks at the camera.
I'm not sure why she doesn't.
And slow-mo says no. And it's like there's already so much anguish because we did just lose Gilgamesh. Like he just died like a minute ago.
Yeah.
And we had that big scene for him to hold everybody back and just for her to be like, I'm too tired.
Yeah.
I don't want to come. And I was just like, that's
silly.
too much. She doesn't need to go yet. Even for the fact that, maybe because then her sister opens up she's like, duh. She's like, why did you do that? She's kind of asking the same things we are. Opens up that door, but still, we don't get the answer as to why she just like, I don't know. It felt like it was the only time the drama felt over dramatized because everything else worked, but this didn't because it made no sense to me.
So can I tell you how I read it? And by the way, I didn't like it even with my read on it. So I'm not saying that this justifies it, but can I tell you how I read it? I think that scene is just a metaphor. If I had to guess based on the messaging of the not so subtle class warfare commentary, my guess is maybe this is a commentary on older generations expecting the ship to go down with them sometimes. I'm just saying based on the viewpoint of the director from the rest of this movie, my guess is this was some sort of commentary on older people, whether it's a political conversation of older voters voting in their own interest versus the interest of younger. I don't know. It just felt like the idea was like, well, the only person I care about is gone, so I'm just going to take everybody down with me.
Yeah. Sister opens the door.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that point. I'm fine with her opening the door.
Sure.
Excuse me.
You get emotional. Wow.
Yeah. Really choked up about this.
Really affecting.
Carter loves trains. So guys, we've just been waiting to talk about this, but
this is the reason we started this podcast was to talk about train. The Carter's first true love is train.
Finally here. I am okay with her opening the door and killing everybody.
Hey, it's okay.
It's too emotional.
It's okay, Carter. It's not your fault.
Can we bring in a pad here?
It's not your fault. Carter. It's not your fault. Trains are for everyone.
I love that take.
And that includes you.
I am okay with the sister who opens the door and just watches the world burn.
Sure.
My super dump, though, is still, I just want to make sure that it's clear. What happens before is my super dump.
I don't like it from a plot perspective at all. That's a ham-fisted metaphor for out of nowhere for old people to
Can
just
I
kill a
tell you what I thought was going to happen?
Sure.
I thought she was going to move toward the door and then the mob of living humans in the train car with her were going to attack her as if they were zombies.
Because they thought she was going to open the door?
Right.
Yes, that's what I
thought.
Maybe
even kill her.
Yes, that's what I thought was
That's
going
what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And then we were going to get like a people are the real villains kind of a situation.
Yeah, the same amount of veracity on both sides.
We are the Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Man, the first couple seasons of that were so groundbreaking and cool.
Seasons 1 through 3, top tier.
But then do you remember when season 4 was like, what if we just did 3 again?
Yeah.
Dang, I used to watch that every week. Like that was like a standing appointment. Yeah.
I thought season 3 was when they were at the CDC for the whole time.
No, season 1 was the CDC for the whole time.
No, they were trying to get to the CDC in season
Trying to get to the CDC. Season 2 was they left, the CDC blows up at the end of season 1.
Oh, okay.
Season 2, they go to Herschel's farm the whole time. And season 3 is in the prison.
Yeah.
Those are great.
And that's when we get Michael Rooker.
Yes, excellent television.
Yeah,
I love seasons 4 through 100 kind of were the same thing over and over again.
That's a little bit too much.
Oh my goodness.
It's still not done. Like they're about to air the series finale
in
like
you serious?
A couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's not over.
It's not over. They're airing the series finale in a couple of weeks and launching a couple new spin-off shows. There's already 1 or 2 spin-off shows.
Hey, I'm gonna say right now. So I'll super pump in just a minute. I mean, it's Train to Busan. It's an action zombie flick with some political overtones. It's really, really good. Our discussion is going to be about the same as it was with Snowpiercer, which is just like cool metaphor, great action, love this movie, go see it. But if you're
it's
looking
like trying to do an episode over John Wick or something.
Right,
Where it's
right.
like, do you remember when he did this? That was cool.
If you're looking for more good zombie content, first of all, if you haven't played The Last of Us, it's a very similar infection take to this.
When they're in the tunnel and throwing stuff to distract them, that really felt like clickers to me.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, I mean, if you haven't played those, I don't have to tell you, everybody talks about those. But the Walking Dead Telltale games are really, really good.
They are.
They're, same universe, completely separate set of characters for the most part. There is some crossover. But I think if you're into zombies and character-driven storytelling, they're really great games, and you should check them out. Can I?
90% sure they're available on the App Store.
I think you can play it on your phone. I think you're right. Can I super pump?
Mm-hmm.
My super pump for this movie is who I refer to as Big Blue, Gilgamesh. I'm not sure. It looks like Ma Dong-seok. And my guy is so charming, so likable, so intensely likable. And
I
then,
think that's him as an actor.
I think so too.
Honestly, because he shows up with that same kind of magnetic charisma in Eternals.
I completely agree. But
yeah, big time.
When he pops that jacket off, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. Dude's huge.
Dude's enormous.
His arms are absolutely massive.
His arms look like my thighs.
And he carries, the middle part of this movie is squarely on this man's shoulders. He quite literally puts this movie on his back and carries it both charisma-wise and action-wise. Without him, this movie is a 6.
When he's trying to run to get on the train and they give us his viewpoint first and his eyes get big and he starts doing kind of a wide take. And we're like, why did he do that? Mm-hmm. Oh, and so he picks up the baton and the shield to take out zombies coming right at him.
Cool.
Goodness me.
There is something so intensely sad to me anytime you see a movie where a very strong person is sacrificing themselves for other people and asks everybody to back away because they're tired now. Mm-hmm. When he's holding the door and he's like, you got to leave, man. I'm tired. Like, I've been fighting all day. I'm about to drop. It's so good. Man, I just think that he is awesome.
He's just like, hold the door. He is awesome.
I pretend that show doesn't exist.
What show?
Something that was almost, I think it's funny because we do Snowpiercer and we're like talking about the world of train movies. That's the whole point of this series. But then we do get into zombies and it is this massive amount. And something that I noticed in terms of what makes a good zombie flick for me, and it was almost my super pump, and I'm going to call it our first zombie.
Yes.
So there's almost always a singular reveal, either somebody turning or getting a first glimpse as to what are the capabilities of and what is the overall vibe of these zombies. Because the interesting thing about a zombie horde in any movie is, unless you're watching some kind of Zack Snyder Vegas heist movie, the zombies really don't have a class system. They're just all the same. And we need to have all of them be the same level of threat. Our first zombie, her name was called Runaway Girl, and she ends up on the train very early.
Yeah.
And we see her turn. And it almost was like we decided from the start, like you need to have at least 2 or 3 years of a career of being a contortionist.
Dude, I feel like they hired breakdancers to play a lot of these zombies.
Dancers, yeah.
They
also sped the footage up a little bit.
Looked like it was about 2 times speed a lot of the times.
It was almost my super pump because what a smart play. Because I think sometimes, and it's funny, zombies can be, they are literally brainless
Sure.
in description, but they can be kind of thrown to the side, and it is so much about the people trying to survive. But I think the moment we saw our first zombie here,
these are
and
cool.
just kind of like how gruesome it was to see the change.
Yeah, dude.
And how practical it was.
Yeah.
It's just mostly practical effects.
Yep.
Was a pretty brilliant intro and a great payoff from there. Everybody who got turned did a really good job of being a zombie.
I have to imagine that the budget for this wasn't particularly high because the CG looks really bad. It's used sparingly, so it doesn't offend me. But
it's like Snowpiercer.
Yeah, the CG looks really bad, but this movie absolutely reeks of money-saving decisions that forced them to be incredibly creative.
Right.
So we end up with a lot of really, really interesting concepts that had they had the budget to do whatever they wanted, I don't know that we would have ended up with.
Is this a Star Wars thing?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Isn't that crazy?
Invented,
even on that scale.
Had to sort of redefine, or at least kind of relitigate what it looks like to play in an established sandbox.
Of low budget.
Just because of low budget and DIY attitude.
Low budget makes a lot of good movies.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
A lot of really, really good movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, First Zombie was wonderful.
Agreed.
She was great. I could not find her. I was watching on Prime Video. And so it showed her there, but I can't find her again on IMDb. I'd have to pull up her actual name because I do want to give her credit. But yeah, killed it.
Yeah, no, she was awesome.
So good.
The other thing that's so good is making sweet, sweet cashola. And it's time to do that right now with Shout Announcements. Welcome to Shout Announcements. It's the part of the show where we give shout outs and also make announcements. Shout out to our Discord. It is popping off. Movie discussion.
Not, as always, not Datcord.
Not
Honestly,
Datcord. It's
just
this one. Popping off,
Nothing to do
movie
with
discussion, TV show discussion, music discussion, sports discussion, box office ball. I mean,
Box office ball.
the list goes on and on. If you're not in there, what are you doing? Jump on Patreon. Get in Discord.
Box office ball season 3 locked in. We do have some, I do believe Chunktober's coming back this year.
Oh, it has to.
So there's going to be an opportunity not too far away. Something happens on the calendar where when August hits, it's Christmas. Like something happens about the latter half of the year that speeds things up, train-like even.
Yeah.
And our final episode.
I'm always just like, stop this train.
Stop this train. In the Choo Choo Hunk series, the final episode
What
will
is
be
it? No, that's not.
Choo Choo Hunk? Choo
That's
Choo
not- that's-
Chunks.
There it is.
Yeah.
Choo Choo Chunks series is Bullet Train.
Yes.
It's going to be interesting
Really
to
excited
see
about this.
what happens when we throw all these A-listers in there
Yeah.
and have a big budget. Will it make it better or worse?
Look, Brian
I don't
Tyree
know what it
Henry,
looks like.
Aaron Taylor Johnson, and Brad Pitt is all you had to say to me.
Can I tell you what it looks like we're going to get
In
maybe
Bullet Train.
again? It looks like maybe again we're going to get fight from the back of the train to the front of the train.
Please.
I think the only way to do a train movie scientifically.
Listen,
There is an art form known as the hallway fight scene, and that's all train movies are.
What's a train if not a hallway
it's just
on
a
wheels?
long hallway, baby.
real quick, season 1 of Daredevil
Oh.
Yeah.
is one of the best hallway fight scenes I've ever seen in my life.
Well, that's like a train that's not moving. So
It's not a train moving, so we don't really we're not as interested in that.
here's an announcement for you all, and you're hearing it here first on our podcast. TikTok is dead.
Long live TikTok.
It's officially over. They said you can't do TikTok anymore because 3 old guys with a podcast got on it and they made one for their podcast. And it's dead now because our old millennial selves have decided that this is a great platform for us to be on.
I've recently found out that it is chuggy I believe is the word, for a millennial to pretend that we're old.
Well,
Like it's like played out and lame to be like, we're old
It's
now
called
'cause we're
chuggy,
almost
like
30.
chuggy.
I'm pretty sure chuggy is the thing that Gen Zers say to millennials that's like are still being millennials.
well, here we are being chuggy. And if you want to get chuggy with it, then join us on
It's
TikTok.
my favorite Will Smith song, if I'm being honest
We'll be
with
there.
you.
Please don't forget to rate and review this podcast. Much like it's known, to make any good train movie, you have to fight from the back to the front. To support any good podcast, you have to rate and review it. It's just simple. It's the simple things that
It's honestly
make for a better story.
It's honestly so not chuggy if you rate and review our podcast.
You just planted an idea, like a thought in my head that I'm going to plant a seed for here. We'll continue it after all the advertisements.
Ooh.
When we get back to the regular episode. It goes a little something like this.
Hi, I'm Kevin Goatee.
Hey, I'm Kevin Israel.
We host Gutting the Sacred Cow, the best and most unique movie debate podcast out there. Why?
Because we invite our guests to pick a film that they find overrated or hate and try to convince us to see their argument.
They must pick a film that is a financial success, widely beloved, or critically acclaimed.
That's right. Some of the films our guests have tried to eviscerate: Raiders of the Lost Ark, Pulp Fiction, Ghostbusters? You can find us on all podcast platforms like Apple, Google, Spotify, and more. And if you want to watch our smiling faces, we're also on YouTube.
GuttingTheSacredCow.com is where you find all of our information, and we look forward to our guests infuriating you when they attack your favorite films.
So here's the thought you planted in my head during shout announcements, Carter.
Yeah.
Anytime there are certain things in movies that if somebody says it, does it, acknowledges it, or it starts to happen, I'm like, oh, here we go, man. Anytime it's like a shot of characters and they're all looking down a hallway, and then it's like, let's strap up and let's gear up. And I know that they're about to go fight through about 5 train cars. I'm just like, pump me up. Pump me up. You know what I mean? It's the same thing as like Avengers Infinity War when the train when the train drives by and you see the flash of Cap's suit through the gaps in the train. And you're just like, your brain melts a little bit because you're so heavily anticipating the coolness that you're about to witness.
Right.
This movie has that in spades, man. There were so many moments where I was like, I know what's 100%. About to happen.
Yes.
And then it
going down the escalator.
You're
basically just being on this fed. It was like 7-Eleven in like real form. Like it's just with humans
roller
on
grill.
it. Just rolling it to.
As soon as it revealed that like SWAT and military had become zombies, so now we got zombies in riot gear. It's like, oh no.
Oh no.
That's the worst kind of zombie. And I actually, you know what? If we're going to, it's a common thing for zombie movies to have tiers of infection, right? So like a more heavily infected zombie or something that's stronger. I actually really like the concept of, no, this zombie's just stronger because the body was an athlete.
The person
and
was
he's
stronger.
in SWAT gear. So he's just harder to kill. I think that's really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Types of zombies. That's going to be my super dump for this movie.
Ooh.
Because we promised animal zombies at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
With the zombie deer. And I super duper thought we were going to get off the train at one of these stations and there'd be like a herd of
squirrels,
zombie deer or something. Like a herd of zombie squirrels animals.
Yeah,
squambies.
You cannot defend against.
But squambies, is that what you just said?
Yeah, I did say squambies. Yeah, or zurls. But I don't know. It didn't bug me that much. Sure. I didn't get to the end of the movie and go, well, now I don't like it because there was no more deer.
It's a bad movie.
Yeah. No, I think that, like, I don't know. I would have loved something like that too. Yeah. That's just another way to differentiate this movie. I feel like the main thing that we take to distinguish this movie from other things is that it really feels like this movie, more so than other zombie movies, acknowledges that the characters in the movie and the people watching the movie have all seen zombie movies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like there is not ever... It's just the freshness that you were talking about, Jordan. There's not ever a point where the movie has to be like, all right, viewer, now here's what happens. This is a zombie and they're technically dead, but they're going to try to keep biting people.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. It's just so economical with the information.
I like the way that they showed the transformation with our main character with dad, with his mom on the phone.
Yeah.
That she gets aggressive at the end of the call and it's like, oh, okay. It kind of gives you an insight of like, oh, she's not done turning, but she's getting heated, like angry.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. I don't know, man. I thought this movie did quite a bit of show, don't tell in some really fun ways. I thought this movie, the cinematography is cool. We're almost entirely daylight. Like, this isn't a dark, scary, shambly zombie movie. This is a zombie action horror movie. Like,
exactly.
I don't know. Yeah. It just works.
I feel like we don't get action horror like
not a
ever.
lot.
I think it pulled off action horror. And one of my favorite things about this movie, another almost super pump, and a lot of these things are connected, was no guns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, well, that's like, boy, did they have to bend the rules to just not have guns in this movie. It's like in a Fast and Furious movie where you're like, why are you fighting with your hands?
Why are you fighting with your cars?
It's because it's what men do, and it's about
Why are you
honor.
swinging a wrench at Jason Statham before you stomp a garage in half?
Yeah, because the streets
fight back. Yeah, that's why.
But to have
the coolest movie I've ever seen.
no one looks to reach for one, even when we have people with riot gear around, no one's thinking like, oh, I better get a gun.
I think the
They're
only
just
time
like,
we
I need
see
to-
one is the military at the very end in Busan.
Yep. And so Choi Woo-sik, who was in Parasite, he was one of our family members, and he's our main baseball
He's
boy.
our baseball boy. Yep.
I also loved that vibe, that we happened to have a couple train cars full of baseball bats.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
And so that also made me think very much like Warriors from like the 80s.
Yeah.
Like to just have factions of people that fight a certain way or look a certain way. And I'm glad they did that. And I think it was fine that they didn't lean into just being like, well, these are the wealthy. Because outside of the baseball players, you cannot really tell the difference. So we've got the baseball players, we've got what feels like businessy people, and they don't even look any different than the main antagonist who's elite, it felt like, economically. And then we have the homeless man. But it's like outside of that, there wasn't too much differentiating between the people. And I actually really enjoyed that too.
Yeah. No, I did.
My super pump is when there are guns. And it is the return to Suan
Yeah.
singing the song.
Yeah.
And
Singing
that's
the
what
whole
kept
so
that's
good,
what
dude.
kept them from shooting her.
Did you know this ending is controversial and a lot of people don't like it?
Why?
I don't know, dude. The only reasoning I ever saw was the whole movie was about getting her to her mom, and we never get to see her get to her mom. But that's not what the whole movie's about. Like,
No, it's
we don't
not.
care about mom. We haven't ever met her before. Why would she be the saving grace? I don't know. I think the ending's brilliant. Sorry, Carter. I wanted to point that out. Continue.
Yeah, just to hear that voice echoing through. And the acting here is
Yeah.
to sing through those tears.
She's good, man.
And she's singing for her dad, who she said that's why she couldn't sing in the first place in the video recording that he sees before. Like they basically tied a bow on the drama of Train to Busan in a perfect way, I thought. I thought it was just so brilliant. And it was like, man, we just barely have more train survivors than Snowpiercer in this movie. 2, 3, basically 3, depending on your stances, maybe 2.5 train survivors in this movie when we only had 2 on Snowpiercer.
Sure.
And I was like, is that just the rules? I'm definitely locked into how many people are going to survive the bullet train.
Oh, yeah.
Because maybe we're moving up. Maybe there'll be 3.
Maybe there'll be
My guess
4.
is that we'll have 3 or 4 survivors of the bullet
3.1
train.
perhaps.
Maybe also I'll never get on a train because statistically I'm not going to make it off the train.
Yeah. No,
This movie made me want to go hard into just doing international film.
Oh,
fest,
dude.
2 Chunks style.
100%.
Yep.
Like Korean filmmaking is phenomenal. Like essentially, it almost, I mean, you could say in some literal sense that Snowpiercer is
Oh, for sure.
Korean filmmaking.
But
You know,
dude,
it's just like
I've been super impressed with almost every Korean film I've ever seen. I believe it's Sweden, wherever Mads Mikkelsen is from, Sweden, right? Swedish filmmaking. The Hunt, starring Mads Mikkelsen, if you've never seen it, is maybe one of the best thrillers I've ever seen, ever.
oh, I need to
It's
see that.
unbelievably good. So foreign films tend to have less darlings than American Hollywood films. And so there's a lot less sacred cows in their movies. There's a lot less.
Unless it's Bollywood.
Sure.
Which is just the absolute extreme.
Yeah, which is just, but RRR is getting so much heat right now. And I really want to see that.
Yeah.
Like, my point is, I think that it is very easy for me to put a lot of like foreign language films on the back burner and go like, I'll get to it. And then every time I watch one, the freshness and it's so unhomogeneous with everything coming out of America. And you know, it's not like I'm always exhausted with American film. It's so good.
I'm hearing whispers of 2 Chunks World Tour.
Ooh,
Yeah.
we're going
I was thinking
international,
that would be-
baby.
2 Chunks summer
Interesting.
vacation next year if we want to take a break from Summer of Love.
Interesting.
I never want to take a break from Summer of Love.
I never
don't
want to take a
understand.
break from Summer of Love. We should just do 2 Chunks abroad.
Yeah, let's
The
just
whole
do a
series.
semester abroad.
I love that.
More like Buddy abroad.
Troll Hunter is a foreign film, eh?
Yeah, that's my
Hey,
favorite
guess
one.
what? Love that movie.
It's so fun. It's so fun. If you've seen Dark on Netflix, it's great.
Oh, I haven't seen Dark. That's German.
Money
yeah?
Heist is from Spain. It's wonderful. Money
Now
Heist
we're
is
just
phenomenal.
naming things with subtitles, which is fine with me.
No. Star Wars Episode 2
I was about to say Avatar 2, The Way of Water is coming out soon. That is not only non-American, it is non-terrestrial.
Now, Carter, I was promised
Navi.
that you had a little spice for our back half of the episode.
I do have a little bit of
I'd love
spice.
a
Would you
little
like
bit
to
of
play
spice,
Choo again?
please.
Would you like to play some
Please.
Choo?
The spice must flow.
Because this train series, there is the beauty of the simplicity of our setting being just a metal hallway. And when you have something like that, you don't really get to travel much in terms of the minutes of each podcast episode. So I have developed a game, adapted a game. It's much like pig or horse that you would play on the playground, or maybe you still play today, in which whoever
go to a lot
I'm a
of
big
places.
pig head.
whoever misses some of this trivia that I've put together for these boys, they gain a letter. So whoever spells Choo, Choo, first, loses. Let's play Choo
Love it.
for Train to Busan. We begin by simply asking, what is the kill count for Train to Busan that we see on screen? Now, there's a lot alluded to. I'm going to tell you actually what we see on screen.
Are we counting zombie deaths as well? Okay.
21.
Man. Oh, I don't
Hey, is this like Jolf? Should we mute? Should we mute while we guess?
You can.
I mean, I guess it doesn't matter now for this question, I guess.
Yeah, you heard me.
I think I'm going to go significantly higher than you, so it doesn't really matter, but I think I'm going to go with like 39.
167.
So a little bit
I
higher,
honestly
just a
think
little
we
bit
should
higher.
both get a letter for that because
Yeah.
we're both
No, it was
really
pretty-
wrong.
No. Doge gets a cheeky C.
A cheeky C.
It's a bit cheeky, isn't it? It's a
that
bit
boy's got a
cheeky.
little bit of a cheeky C.
That C's a
Isn't
bit
it?
cheeky, isn't it?
Our next question will take us to the box office. And we're doing this in American dollars.
The currency of
I don't know what the
currency of
Korean
you.
currency is. I just realized.
How much money domestically in the U.S. did Train to Busan make? Whoever decides to go first, the other person needs to mute them.
No, Jordan, you mute. Wait, how would we do this?
We can pop headphones out.
Okay.
Just whoever's ready to guess, tell me. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll pop my headphones out.
64 million. I'm going to mute
Jordan?
you on my keyboard.
I don't think you have to mute me since you already answered. It can't affect you. Man, I can't imagine that this full subtitled movies just don't do particularly well most of the time. I'm going to go, I don't know, like 20 mil in the U.S.
Hey, your mouth
Doge
moves
has
a whole
returned.
lot to just say words. Just say number. There's a lot of mouth movement.
Doge guessed 64 million. Jordan guessed 20 million. In the United States, Train to Busan, with its theatrical release, made $2.1 million.
Wow.
Whoa.
$2 million. So Doge is hit with the H, with the H.
I got a bit of a cheeky
C-
H there.
H. We might come back to the box office if we get that far, and we'll talk worldwide. But for now, I want to talk about the wider scope of zombie film. Several websites have tried to rank the greatest zombie movies of all time. And in doing so, they have created exhaustive lists of actual zombie films. Some of these didn't make it to theaters, but these are some that you could either catch streaming, zombie-produced movies. How many zombie films, rough estimate, have been made? I say rough estimate because that's what we have here, because there are so many, spoiler alert, that no one has a real exact amount. How many zombie films exist?
Wow. What a question.
Jordan, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. Let's say, I'm just going to get real specific with it. I'm going to say 146.
Doge, how many zombie films exist?
I'm back.
I don't feel the
Come on,
need to mute you since I already gave my answer.
That's a good point. 220.
146 for Jordan, 220 for Doge. This exhaustive list found 7,900.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if what a stupid answer. I'm only just now making my brain zoom out and be like, of all time, idiot, what are you doing?
Yeah.
146?
Oh,
What a stupid
man.
answer is that?
Phenomenal.
That is
phenomenal.
objectively our worst answer so far.
It is fun. It is going to be fun for the people that play at home
for the
too.
kill count. So
Yeah. So C for Jordan, CH for Doge. How many minutes is Train to Busan? How many minutes is Train to Busan?
I'll go. 119.
My turn. It's 119 minutes long.
That's so funny. Y'all had the same guess. So we're at a wash. Nothing will happen here. It was 118. 118. Nobody loses a point. We're going back to the box office. How much money did Train to Busan make worldwide? In American, they've converted here. Box Office Mojo converted to American dollars.
I'm ready.
I'm muting.
I'm going to go 320 million.
224 million.
Jordan said 320 million. Doge said 224 million. With as popular as Train to Busan has come, it really gained steam after it already left.
As in a locomotive.
Theaters. $92.7 million. That's
crazy. Even 100 million.
That's crazy.
Wow.
I read that it was one of the most popular theatrical releases in Korea.
I think what's probably getting us is the American conversion here. Because ours is just not worth that much, I guess. So at Doge, you guessed it 146, right?
I guess 226 million.
Oh, Jordan guessed 146.
I guessed 320, I believe.
Oh, I see it now. There's a lot of numbers here that are similar. So Jordan gets that. We both have CH.
We got a C. I mean, you got an
For
H.
our game, our Choo game of the Train to Busan. Our next question is, how many cars are on the train to Busan?
1001. No, that's not my guess. That was just the answer when you asked us for Snowpiercer.
Which the one that we spend most of the time on, or the one with only one car at the very end?
The Train to Busan.
I'll go first.
I'll go first. Does he trick us?
I'll go first.
Okay, go.
One, because only one train actually makes it to Busan.
I think it's a trick question. The answer is 0 because there are no cars, only an engine.
You went two on the tricky side. It definitely was just one. One train.
Engine's still a train car, baby.
It's not a
One
car.
train car.
It's the engine car.
To Busan.
It's the engine car.
It's not a car. It's not a car.
It's the engine car.
It's the go one. It's the go one. It doesn't count as a car.
For anyone who thinks they might be more train experts than we are, let us know
I
on
dare you.
Instagram
I dare
if-
you to message
if
us.
Doge has been slighted.
I could
Let us
not
know.
care less.
If Doge has been slighted. We're going to talk credits here specifically and credits for our Gilgamesh boy, Ma Dong-suk. How many acting credits does he have on IMDb?
Ooh.
I'll go.
Okay.
34.
48.
The answer and the winner of the Train to Busan round of Choo, 57 acting credits. He has 4 upcoming projects.
Good for him, man.
One called The Gangster, The Cop, and The Devil. One called The Club, and one called The Roundup.
I really like The Gangster, The Cop, and The Devil.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good title. We're going to rate this movie using the scientific cinema scale, which is perfect. And, of course, as follows. The best thing we could ever say about a movie is, own it, don't lend it, buy that poster. The next best thing we can say is buy it, followed by rent it, and then stream it. And after that is forget it. And last, but certainly least, the worst thing we could ever say about a movie. God hath forsaken us.
Buy it. I'll buy it. It's very fun. I would love to own it and be able to watch it whenever I want.
Yeah, I buy it too. I think a good zombie movie, like this is one of the more dramatic zombie movies I've seen, but there is still a good amount of that action that you get to do that again. You get to be pumped again. There are so many things like you were alluding to, Jordan, of the just stand up and just get ready, gear up for really, really intense moments throughout this movie. I loved it.
Yeah, I buy it as well. I mean, what else is there to say about Train to Busan? It's interesting. It's fresh, a fresh take on something that's been done 100 times. It's awesome.
Was the homeless man the guy who driving the pigs?
The guy
At the beginning of the movie?
driving the pigs.
The first
Well, he
guy,
kept saying-
who, like going to the
Oh,
checkpoint.
no, I think that
the
guy
guy
had
who
short
hits
hair.
the deer.
No.
I don't think he had long hair. This all takes place on the same day. So I don't think he...
Oh, it is all the same day. Okay.
Yeah.
Or the next day, maybe. Like
The next day, I think.
Do you know there's a sequel to Train to Busan?
I did. It is not
Peninsula.
well received at all.
I'm choosing not to watch it at all.
I'm choosing. not to watch.
Nice. Well, that does it for Train to Busan. Next week, we're talking about Bullet Train as we continue our Choo Chwo Chunks series. To end today's episode, I'd like for us to each say our name and what role we would play, not in the movie, but like an active role in a zombie situation on a train like this. For Two Chunks and a Hunk, my name is Jordan Wonders, and I think I would land somewhere between rally leader. We're down and out. We're not doing great. We're a little sweaty and tired. I'm going to rally the troops, and also maybe eventual meat shield. I think that's sort of my. I think that's sort of my role that I would slot into.
I see that.
Depending on your outfit, you could be a meet cute.
I would love that. Yeah, I'd have to ask Callie if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. Well, she's already zombified at this point.
Oh, I'm long gone. If she's gone, I'm long gone.
I'm Doge, and probably like the hero that saves everybody's life.
Okay.
I don't know. That just seems
No,
like...
probably about it. That's you, man, in a nutshell.
Yeah, probably like the guy who's brave and strong.
Yeah.
I think you get bit in the middle of explaining something to someone.
Yeah, probably.
I think you're like, if we take our knowledge that we know from every zombie film ever made, I think we can piece together, and then you're just out. You're gone.
I'm Carter, and I think I'm the, I probably identify roles. I would imagine that for what little time I've had in the train cars, I'm like, you should do this, you should do that, you come with me, we should be over here. Maybe have a cheeky line or two every now and then that is like zombie themed joke. I'm not going to be the last.
Hey, why don't
person
you
to die.
shamble over here?
I'm not a survivor. Yeah. I'm one of the last.
Can I tell you what I see so clearly as your role? I can see the scene unfold in my brain.
Am I the antagonist?
No. You are.
You're the guy with
everybody else.
Like, poor people. You're zombie food now.
Everybody else is like freaking out and grabbing stuff, but it's the come down. You've all escaped to the next car over. You've locked it, and there's a conversation happening behind you, but you're just sitting and staring and sort of mumbling to yourself, and everybody's just ignoring you until finally somebody comes over and goes, "What are you doing?" And you're the guy who's like, "Every time we pass through a tunnel, all of them stop moving. It's got to mean something, right?" And then you're the guy that like sparks the plan to come up. I feel like that you'd be sitting there you'd be like, look. We're about to go through another tunnel. Watch them. They stop moving.
Hey, I love that you gave Carter such a cool and active, heroic role. And then when you described what I would do, I was like, well, according to my calculations, these zombies are actually dead.
Hey, man, if the pocket protector fits.
When you need milk for Zoe and a cold brew for yourself, Kroger Delivery will get you just what you need in as little as 30 minutes. Open the Kroger app and start your cart, whatever the cart. Whenever, wherever. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Delivery times not guaranteed. Restrictions may apply. See site for details.
When you're a Boost member, you get free delivery, double fuel points, and lots more. Sign up at Kroger.com/boost.